Hi, welcome back, my dear students. I hope you're having a great day. Today is an awesome day. We're going to be learning something new, all right? So this is going to be pretty fun to do. Now, we worked on the find all users, but now it's time for us to work in the find user by ID. I think this is going to be a really good one for you to learn how this really works, and I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to like this. All right, so we were printing out all the users. Now it's time for us to use the find a user by ID, and we need to do a couple of modifications here. So admin, admin includes, and of course user.php. All right, so that's where I am, just to let you know. So now let's work on this one here. Now we know that we are not returning a result set anymore. So what we can say here is the result array. That we are getting an array, so that I think that this makes a little more sense. Now we are not using my SQLite fetch array anymore, since we are doing it right here, so we don't need this. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make sure that this array that is coming to us really has something. If it doesn't have it, I want to return false, so that way I can use this as a condition statement later on. I could say, if you don't find any users, or you don't find this, I want you to do this. If you find any, I want you to do this. So that's why we want to return false. All right, so I'm gonna say something like, if, let's just start, if it's not empty, if the result array here is not empty, I'm just gonna use an empty function. All right, if it's not empty, what I want to do is I want to grab the first item of that array and get it and return it. All right, that's all I want to do. So I want to grab this first one, and I want to do something called array shift. That's what it's going to do. This function is going to grab that out of the array, the first item, and we can have it in a variable. So we can say something like, we can say right here, first item. All right, and we want to do array shift. All right, so we're going to be doing array shift on the result array right here. All right, we do that, and then all we got to do is return first item. We could do something like that. I'm going to show you another way, but I want to do it the long way, so that way you know how to do it this way. All right, else we could, all right, return false. There we go. All right, so we could do it this way. Now let me show you another syntax which is really good for, it's called itinerary syntax. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you can look it up on php.net. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that for you right here. All you got to do is go and say itinerary PHP. All right, right here. So, all right, this is just a different syntax that you could use. All right, and I don't know, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. All right, but this is how I'm gonna show you the syntax in a minute. All right, so instead of doing like this, you can go ahead and, let me see if I can find the syntax. You can do it like this. All right, and this is ternary behavior. This is what it's called, ternary, all right, operator or condition. All right, my English is not very good, so sorry about that. But this is, I'm going to show you how to use this right now. Just in case you don't know how to use it, you might know how to use this already. But anyway, I was confused in a way. Itinerary, I don't know where I got that word from. But anyway, hope you're not laughing about me, all right? That's not funny. All right, so let me just take all this out of here. I'm just going to comment this out and show you how this one is used. All right, so let's go here. All right, so I could just say return, and I can do the empty right here without the parentheses, because this is a different syntax for the ternary. All right, so if it's result array not empty, all right, I want to do, and you put a question mark right here. So if this is not empty, you put a question mark. I want you to do this, array shift. All right? So we're gonna be using, we can just copy the one from the bottom there, but why be so lazy, right? So there we go. All right, and then we put this colon right here and we say, well, this is the else statement in a way. Else we return false, and then we close it. So you see that we return, if it's not empty result array, I want you with this question mark, that's what it says, I want you to do array shift, else return false. So in one line we can save all these lines here, right? We can save ourselves from writing all this. So that's it. That's all we got to do here. And if we go back, all right, we don't have to write all this. We can just find the user like this, all right, and of course find the user, and then we just echo. Let me just make sure that, oops, take this off, make sure I'm not printing anything in there. All right, so found user, we can just say found user username. All right, we come back here and refresh. Oops, we got to echo it, of course. Oops. Anyway, you see that it works. All right, so we are getting one result and we are echoing. All right, so I hope you see how easy that is. All right, so now in 2 lines of code we are doing all this right here, instantiating, we're doing this. I mean, come on, it's not a, rocket science, right? It's super simple. But if you don't, I understand if you don't understand it, if it's your first time. If you don't, just keep rewinding the video until you do. This is very important that you understand it. If not, you won't be able to keep following along with the course. But I know most of you will understand this. If not, I'm here to support you 100%. So again, I'm going to recap this. If you already have it, pause the video and go to the next one. I mean, not pause it, just stop the video and go to the next one. If you don't understand it, just pay attention to what I'm about to explain right now. All right, so let's start from find this query right here. Well, not find this query, I'm sorry. Let's start from find all users. All right, so we start from find all users. What we do here is we call this function find this query, right? And that function is right here. All right, we make the request to the database. We create an array here to save some of the objects that are coming through because we're using this instantiation. But anyway, before that, we're using this while loop to fetch that database, that table. We get that result set. All right, we assign it to this variable right here. All right, so now we got the table in here, all the table values in here. All right, so now we use this instantiation, all right, method, and we pass it in that result that we get from the data from the table. We pass it into the instantiation here, so we get this array with a lot of different values in there, right? So when we get that and we pass it in this, it calls this function, and we get this parameter right here. All right, because this row right here from the table is the same as this right here. So once it gets here, it calls this function. It passes this parameter here, which is the table values, right? We instantiate the object. Remember, it keeps from the top to the bottom. So instantiates the object, and then we use a for each loop, all right, to loop through this table right here. All right, we get the key, we get a value out, and then we do an if statement just to make sure that it does have something. Make sure that it has the attribute. All right, and make sure that it has a key, which is a property. In this case, is an object. All right, so once we make sure that, right, we do this if statement, this is gonna go to this other method that we have created to find out if it, this table has any attribute. All right, so that method is right here. We pass in that parameter, which is that key. We use this built-in function to let us know if it has any attribute, to pick up all the attributes from all our class, user class. So it takes all the attributes on the top. That's why this means the user class. And then once we get all the attributes from our class, we use another function here, all right, to find out if this attribute, well, this returns an array. If this parameter right here is in this array right here in object properties, which is right here. If it's in there, it returns true. If it's not, it returns false. All right, so that's what we are using right here. So if we have an attribute here, when we have this fun, we're using this method right here. All right, then we assign the object property a value. All right, and that value would be this here. Remember that that part right here is this, and this attribute here is basically this, but we turned it into object properties. All right, so hopefully you understood what's going on here. If not, rewind that video and watch me explain it again and again until you understand it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this lecture, and hopefully you were able to come out successfully from this. See you in the next one. Take care, my friend. Have a good one, and keep motivated, because this is going to teach you how to be a master in object-oriented programming, where you can take this knowledge anywhere and make money at it and never go hungry again, or never go through bad times, because you're going to have the knowledge to do whatever you want in the web development world. Take care, my friends.